Yesterday we had some technical challenges, but today I have no doubt it's going to all work. And I know quite a few people couldn't be here today with work, with sick kids, with different things, but we're going to go ahead as if you're all here and participate. So thanks so much for coming. And I'm going to double check to make sure we're live on Facebook, and then we'll get kicked off. And so my name's Renee Schulte, and we're here with the Policy Party on day 2. And hopefully some of you have gotten into your homework guides and started figuring out, okay, what is the issue you want to work on this week? I have seen some feedback from a couple of different people, and they are talking about the issues that matter to them. And we're going to share about that in just a second. So again, my name is Renee Schulte, and I am a clinician by trade, a former politician, and a recovering workaholic. And so we are working on making healthier policies, whether we're doing that at home for our own selves or whether we are doing that and in the workplace or in the community. And so as people come in and just want to say hello, today our keyword of the day is going to be champion. So if you see us live, say the word champion in the chat. The word champion is the word of the day. And so put that in the chat, or if you catch us on replay, use the word champion, let us know you were here. You're again going to get prizes at the end of the week to make sure that you know that we appreciate the fact that you've taken time to be with us. So we talked a little bit about yesterday. I'm going to get ready to share our slides, and hopefully this works better today than yesterday, because wow, things not working the way it was supposed to. So give me one sec. We're going to get it all square, I hope. That's the goal, right? And so get the slides rolling, get it shared, and off we roll. Woohoo! So today we're day 2 of the Policy Party. So I want to just give you some quotes about yesterday. Lots of people participated when we were doing the call yesterday, especially in the Facebook side, some people in the Zoom, but we had lots of different things that people were figuring out and learning about yesterday. And so thank you to all that participated. Nina talked about how she did not go to school for any of this policy work either, but she's really interested this year. She's working on some issues today, specifically in the area of funding, trying to track down some funding. And maybe you saw that, but Nina had a question yesterday that we put a specific video in the chat. So if you have a specific question, when we get to our code for questions, please share to put that in there, and we'll add it into the deck for the following day. And we may even create a video to show everybody how to answer your question online, depending upon if that's something that you'd like to do. So see the quotes here. Cherry was participating yesterday. Thanks, Cherry. Tanya stopped by. Everybody talking about working smarter, not harder, and that absolutely you can change the world. And Wendy is a former client. She's worked with me before, as well as Nina has as well. And both of them are kicking butt, taking names, fixing things in the system. And so Wendy's talking about fixing some issues with inclusion and making sure money's get put to where they need to be for her son, and to make sure that that they have the people they need to get the care they need in rural communities. And I think that's amazing. So appreciate everybody participating. So now if you're here today and you're listening, I want you to use the QR code here in front of you and tell me what it is that you want to change, whether it's something personal or whether it is a topic that you want to change yourself. What is it that you want to change? All you have to do is click over that QR code and type in your answer. You get to add a word. What is it that you want to change? If you want to change your weight, you want to change your health, you want to change your, you want to change policy about funding, finances. What is it that you want to change? And we'll take a second and see who's all here today and who can participate. Who wants to see changes in the world? I know for myself, I like to see, what is it that I want to change today? I want to change my work location. That's what I'm going to say. Who wants to make changes? Is anybody seeing the slides? There we go. We got some things popping in. Anybody else participating today? We'd love to see what else you want to talk about. So people want to talk about health. They'd like to see a personal change, want to change some work. They want to change the money that they make or their finances. Oh, somebody wants to change their mind. Somebody wants to change their body, their weight. Awesome. So you can see there's lots of options here. So when we're talking about what you want to change, I got a couple of messages in the chat. Let's see. Wendy said her number 1 priority this week is school inclusion, and then she's going to tackle waiver benefits for rural communities and the lack of service providers. So there's some folks out there doing some really big things in the world, and so we're grateful that you're here. And this year we're talking about our own personal changes like weight and body and mindset, as well as we're talking about public policy. So we're doing both. So hopefully you see some people that want to change both things. So as we move forward today, let's talk about what we're going to be chatting about today. Let's See, again, what is a policy? And this really is a course or a principle that gives you a direction you want to go in your life. And it can be used from, the words can be used from anywhere. It can be a direction you want to go as an individual or as a business or as a government. Policy is something that impacts everyone. And that's why we're talking about it from so many different angles. And so making sure we remember what we're doing. And then where are we? Yesterday, we should have prioritized our policy. We have people saying, this is what I'm going to work on this week. We have others that turned in their homework saying, what they were going to work on this week. Let's see what I got in that space. Where did that go? Maybe I lost it. Anyway, we have some homework in today about what they want to change. And so all sorts of different things are happening. So just making sure, people are out there doing their work. And then today we're going to figure out, okay, who cares? Who can help, right? Not just on the public side, but who can help on the private side. It's the same principle both ways. You have to find people that can help because we cannot make these changes on our own. And so today it's the same on the personal side as it is on the public side. It's the same. So this is the success party path. We've prioritized what we want to do. We're going to find the people that need to help. And this is important on both sides. So making sure that this is where we are. So today's homework is going to relate it to this. So let's talk about the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I don't know how many people remember Kevin Bacon, and the movie Footloose is usually the one most people remember, but he's in all kinds of movies, and he's been out again this year. You've seen him on all kinds of commercials, especially around the Super Bowl. He's everywhere. And so the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon game, what it means is they talk about how many people away from knowing the exact person you want to connect with. So we put this together last year so you could kind of see. You can see here that there's George Clooney, and then you connect him to Matt Damon with Ocean's 11. And Ocean's 11 is a movie, and they're connected. So they're 1 degree of separation. They were both in the movie together. But Matt Damon's connected to Jack Nicholson. So Clooney and Jack are 2 degrees of separation. And then Jack worked with Kevin Bacon. And so that's 3. So George Clooney would be 3 people away from Kevin Bacon. Almost the whole world is like that. So if there's somebody that you need to help you on your journey, whether it's a personal journey or public, you have people in your network that can connect you to the right people. And that's what we're going to talk about today. This is one of my secret weapons when it comes to changing policy, is knowing the right people. So we're not talking about champions like Olympic gold medalists, which I do love the Olympics, but that's not what we're talking about. You're talking about people who care about your topic, as well as have influence in the space that can help. And so that's a little bit different if it's a personal issue or public, but it's the right people to help do what you need done. And sometimes we forget who we're talking about and who's the right people, right? So this doesn't matter if you're working on yourself or if you're working on something else. But on the public policy side, think of who do you know? Who also cares about your topic? Who has the power or authority to change it? And who might have the connections that you need? I mean, who might that be, right? And so think about who that is. And then on the private side, we think about 3 groups of people. So who has been in your shoes or is in the same boat with you now? And these are kind of your colleagues, kind of your friends, people who are also losing weight, as an example. And they can be great supporters. People that are kind of in that same boat can be people that can support you, that can, encourage you and all of that. So that is a group of people on the private side that you might consider talking to, or somebody that's been further along than you. Maybe there's somebody that's working on weight loss too, and they're further down the path. And maybe they're 3 or 4 years in and have kept the weight off, and they kind of become a mentor, right? Or maybe you need an expert. And in the private side, you may need a lot of different experts, right? It could be nutritionists, it could be chiropractors, it could be doctors, integrated physicians, chiropractors, it could be a lot of things. And so who do you need? So on the private side, think about who are these champions that help you get stuff done, right? So we've got 2 different things going on here. But on the public side, you're thinking about who do I know that knows something about my topic, and who do I know that might have some influence? And those could be the same people or different people, right? So sometimes you're thinking about who do I know that can help me in my case. But when you're on the private side, and you're talking about maybe your own weight loss journey, you have people in the same boat as you. You have people that are further ahead than you that are mentors, or you can have professionals. Now, there's one more group of people in both cases that I never talk to. There's another whole group of people. And these are the people not in the arena. If they are not even in the arena, not even trying, they're on the sidelines, throwing in cheap shots, they're not the people to talk to. Think about this on the private side. If you're a person that's looking to figure out how to make your marriage work, right? And you really want that to happen, single people who've never been married are not going to be your go-to for any kind of information. It's just not. And on the public side, if you're trying to work with people that you know that they need help and you're trying to, get something done, people who've not been elected, who have not been in politics, who don't know that system, probably aren't going to be able to help. Now, they'll be on the radio and on the news and just be talking about how to get stuff done, but they really haven't walked the walk. Those are not going to be people, public or private, that you're going to want to talk to. And oftentimes we get really messed up on this. We call our best friend, who's not even close to the same life circumstance, and jibber jabber about our issues. And that doesn't get us any solutions. It doesn't move us ahead. So when you're thinking about this on the public side or on the private side, you've got to figure out who are the right people. And that's the goal today. So when you're thinking through this at a high level, who cares about what you're trying to do? Who would be supportive of you? On the private side, if you're thinking about, okay, I want to lose weight, and you have a friend or a spouse that's not what they're doing, and they're all about eating everything, and maybe even eating and going to establishments that you're not going to right now, and they're not being supportive in that space, they're not the folks that's going to help you with this, right? You need somebody that's a cheerleader, a champion that wants to help take you on. And so thinking about like at a workplace, if you're trying to make the healthier choices at work, who can help you with that, right? Who's going to be people that have some say? Who are people that are going to have some, that have the ability to give you feedback or to make changes, right? You can jibber jabber and complain with your coworker all you want, but if they can't really fix it, that's not really going to move the ball forward. So you got to think about like, who's the right person and how do we get there, right? And you may not have that best relationship with the boss to talk to them directly, but you may have a really good friend with like his golfing partner that can help do the influence. You see what I'm saying? So that's how that degrees of separation works. It may not be your boss that's the best or your best friend who can make the change, but they're best friends with the boss, right? So thinking about how does this work is like, how do we move things forward? So let's look at our homework for today. The public and the personal are going to be pretty much the same. You're going to brainstorm 5 people who are interested in your issue. The 5 people on the private side of who can help, who can support you, who can contribute. And on the public side, 5 people that that know about your topic and or have influence. It doesn't matter if you know the right people or not. Those are the people that you start connecting with and reach out to have a conversation. Now, you may know the school board member at your school. Now, they may know the city councilman that you need to talk to help with the neighbor issue that you have going on. But you don't know the city councilman, but you know the school board neighbor, right? So the neighbor would be who you'd want us to pick a set a star beside who are you going to reach out to. That person would have the connection that you need to get to where you need to go. And on the private side, you may have a good friend that, is along the journey with you in your health and wellness, and they know an awesome doctor, or they know an awesome chiropractor, or they know somebody, but you don't know that right person quite yet, or they know a coach, right? That you can connect them to. And that connection may be what you need, or the coach that you have that connect you to the right product, to the right service, to the right strategy. So you have to think about this is all about networking. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, before we get done, we're going to talk just a little bit about questions we got from yesterday. And I got some very specific ones. And Nina's been in our program before, so she knows that if we do questions, you can get them to me and we will be able to answer them either live in here or we'll be able to do them in the group. So she had 2. And the first one I put as a video in the group. So if you haven't had a chance to see that, but she was looking for state plan federal dollars. Like, where do you find that information? And what I shared yesterday, and I'll just give a brief overview, is because I have worked in mental health and used my search engine for now over a decade to go deep, deep, deep into these issues, I can search for things in my search engine and they just pop up. Where you've maybe never thought of this before, but if you have worked on a topic your whole life, you're going to have a different level of influence in your search engine on the things that you search for most, which will be very different from, say, an intern or a college student who, when they look up mental health, they're going to get a Wikipedia article or maybe some other magazine. They're not going to get the depth that I do. But you can be very specific in your search words and use very specifics to help get you what you want. The second question that she had is that she was talking about this document that we found, and it looks like the state has wiped out or they have actually pitched to get rid of a board that's called the Children's State Board. And what happens if they've put that in a federal document and told the federal government, hey, we have this board? Well, it all depends. So the answer is it depends. Don't you love that answer? So when they put the document together, the board existed. If they choose to get rid of the board, then two things can happen. One, you can send an addendum or an amendment, as she suggested in her question, to the federal government and get it waived. Or two, it may just be that they count a different advocacy committee as the one that's going to be attached. What happens when you attach things to the federal government? They're for a 4 or 5 year term. And then after that, you have to reapply anyway. So what's most likely going to happen is then they reapply the next time. They just won't mention the board or whatever else disappeared. So that's the answer to your question. So I'm going to scroll back up right here for public policy or private. If you have a question, there's the QR code and there is the link on the bottom. We'd love to have you just send us a question. Doesn't matter how complicated or easy, just send it in. We'll be able to answer those here tomorrow live. We promised you we'd be out in 15 minutes. We did it today. Thanks everybody for joining. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.